Now, we all know how delicious a ham and cheese sandwich is, but I'm going to show you the viral sensation, which is warm ham and cheese rolls. In fact, not one roll, but we're going to cook 6 all at once. This is fantastic, straight out of the oven, but it's also a really great idea for time efficiency. So the whole point of this is to make all of these sandwiches at once, and then you can simply place them into a lunchbox. So what I'm doing here is just using a serrated knife to very carefully cut through all 6 of these very soft bread rolls. You want soft bread rolls for this because you want it to be all about the delicious fillings like the ham and the cheese. So after you've done that, we're going to just flip that open. Got a tray here and we'll place the base of the rolls onto a tray, and you want a tray that's going to fit them nice and snug so all of the cheese doesn't melt over the side, it stays inside. Now you can be really creative with your toppings. I'm going to keep mine very similar to a deli style, so pesto, a generous amount of pesto onto each roll. And of course you could do this ahead of time, a day or two, really wrap them nicely in some Glad wrap and then into the fridge, and all you have to do is just warm them up. You can feed 6 people at once. So after we've added our pesto, mayonnaise on the other side, a dollop on each, and then just spread that. Now onto some sun-dried tomatoes. We'll sprinkle that over the pesto. Bit of an Italian feel for this one. And the cheese. Now I'm using a combination of 2 types of cheese, some mozzarella so we get that really lovely stringiness, and then I love the sharpness of some cheddar, so I'm just going to freshly grate my cheddar. You could take this opportunity to use up all those little bits of cheese that you have in your fridge. I know I've always got a small amount of cheddar or some mozzarella, a little bit of parmesan that needs to be used up into the bowl. And I'm just going to give them a bit of a mix. We're going to add half of this now over the top, spreading it out quite evenly. And now for the ham. I love double smoked ham, and this one's great because it's very thinly shaved, so we get a beautiful distribution of it. Okay, see, look at that, super thin, paper thin, which is what I'm after, and we can just drape it, or as I'm doing, just placing it onto each. And you can be quite generous with the ham. I'm going to be using 2 packs of the double smoked ham. The last layer of cheese, spread it out, getting all the way to the sides. You don't want it all the way in the middle because it won't be even, so pat it down. It's looking good. All right, the lids can go on. Flip that over, squish it down one more time. And this is totally optional. Some extra virgin olive oil over the top that I'm just going to brush. And just to give it some extra toasty, nutty flavour, I'm going to add some sesame seeds. We'll just grab some black sesame seeds and some white sesame seeds. And that olive oil is just going to help it stick. And the white sesame seeds. How good does that look? Do cover this with some Glad foil. You want it to cook for about 15 minutes at 200 degrees with the foil so all of that cheese melts. Then take the foil off and cook it for a further 10 minutes so we get a slight crispness on the top of these rolls. These have come out of the oven. I've allowed them to cool slightly because they're going to be piping hot. They smell fantastic, like freshly baked bread with ham and cheese in it. And it's pull apart, so you don't need a knife for this. We're just going to pull that away from this one. That is the most delectable sandwich right there. I've got to have a taste of this. Yum. Pesto, mayonnaise, loads of cheese and ham, and I really love the sweetness of those sun-dried tomatoes. If you're feeding a big crew, then definitely make your sandwiches this way. So good.